Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it?
Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain.
With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Sport is alive and well at Bond University.
Been a massive day here at South Pine Sports Complex. Fourth and final match, and I'm going to be sorry it's over. Maroochydore versus Southport. Round 12 of the Bond University QAFLW, but also Jarrah Corporate Pride Round. My name is Daniel Viles. With me is AFLW Competitions Manager Mitch Simpson. Mitch, very quickly, good afternoon.
Thank you, Daniel. The ball's away here. It's been an outstanding afternoon. Beautiful weather. Been quite breezy all afternoon, but an absolutely outstanding, I guess, a hallmark feature event on the AFLW calendar. So a huge thank you to all the clubs, partners, everyone else that's been involved, particularly Jarrah Corporate, who are our naming rights partner across the state as we do celebrate Pride Round. Daniel, it's been a day that we've seen a lot of footy played on the far side of the oval. That breeze is starting to drop away a little bit, but what do you think's between these two sides today?
Look, Southport go in as favourites, but Maroochydores' resurgence in the last 4 rounds, and particularly their forward duo of Jesse McMillan, who admittedly was named on the ball today, and Latea Depoe, are important. But Southport get the first inside 50, goes through the hands of Matty Baldwin, will be semi-cleaned up at the back by Jair Epstein, and by semi, I mean not. Through again, that was Michaela Nurse. Inside, I think there might be Ship with a check side kick. O'Brien just didn't quite get front position. Gets a second chance. Check side. Misses.
Looks dangerous early, though. I think O'Brien's obviously one that is pretty regularly talked about, no doubt, by opposition coaches. I think that was about her 3rd or 4th involvement already with a quarter that's only 80 seconds old. So Ship's had her hands on a couple of times already. So the prime movers for Southport in action is a long clearing kick into that breeze. Not a bad ball there. Has been unfortunately intercepted if you're a Maroochydore supporter. So Southport send straight back in. Strong marking contest there, but the ball's been brought to ground and wrapped up. And we'll have a ball up about 40 metres out right in front of goal. The
Maroochydore fullback today is Arden Quilliam. No Sarah Jane O'Grady today, but I've been impressed with the teenage Quilliam this year. I think she's 19. I'll just check my notes. 20 now, sorry. But chance for her to fill the breach. Yeah, O'Grady certainly one of the premier intercept markers in the comp. I think inside the top 5 or 6 for intercept marks. So a big hole to fill back there. But it's always great to see some of our young talent as well coming through. As that ball just pinballs around, no one really being able to take possession there. There's no doubt there'll be another ball up call. Though umpire Jones allows the ball to play as the ball's come out the back. Again, no real clear possession winner as it heads back into traffic. And I'd say that one will be wrapped up now. And thanks for the reminder, Mitch. Our umpires today brought to you by Bradnam's Windows and Doors. In the field, Angus Mott-Howell and Leona Jones. On the boundary, Andrew Barnes and Connor Campbell. And in goal, Harper Eyre and Bryce Franklin. It's Jones who restarts. Southport able to lock it in the forwards just for the last couple of minutes. So holding the footy, free kick paid there. Plenty of space ahead, I should say, of her, but it's going to be intercepted again. Looks like Zarafa with the footy there. Hand passes forward. Ball bouncing around, opens up just a little bit now. Takes on one. Can't quite get away, so the ball's now over the top. Just bouncing around again, in dispute. Plenty of Maroochydore players around the footy there as they look to mop up. One out the back, and they are now away. Again, though, they're unable to get through that half forward, through the centre line into their forward half. So just chopped off by Southport as they look laterally now. So Pluples with a footy, gets a little bit of contact, ends up on the ground, but she's okay. Comes wider again for what I would probably say is the 5th passage of play on this side of the wing all day as Kimber sends it long. O'Brien over her head, looking for the footy now. Dangerous. Great, strong bodywork there, however, by Oswald there. O'Brien certainly not an easy one to move off the footy and did pretty well there to force another stoppage. Now, just quickly, you probably know more than me about Axel Oswald. You familiar with her background? She is in the New Zealand national team.
Go.
And she'll be playing up at Maroochydore in the Pacific Series, which you definitely know more about than me.
Well, hello to all our listeners across the ditch. So
Dutch, pronounced Dutch.
So we're back down O'Brien in the ruck there. She's just about doing everything at the moment. As the ball looks like it'll be called up for another stoppage. But just allowed to play on there by umpires. I like that. Allow the footy to come out on its own merits. Clever pick up there. Quick ball snap. How's it going to bounce? Bounces straight up in the air, confuses a couple under the footy. O'Brien looks to go and grab that ball. She gets it out. Can't quite see who that is. Goes on the check side. Dangerous spot to kick from. Bouncing around. Great pressure here by Maroochydore to stop that getting through as they, for a second, get a bit of reprieve from a very dangerous position. But the ball can't quite get a clean kick. Now they're out. They've got numbers if they can get over the top here, but the ball's just fumbled. O'Brien putting a lot of pressure on there and laying a tackle again. And Daniel, I'll bring up an interesting stat. Tell me what you read of this.
Mm-hmm.
Maroochydore, number 1 tackling side in the competition.
Mm-hmm. Southport, whilst they lead disposals by a fair margin, 7th in tackles.
Yeah. Partly that's the amount of possession. We'll just stay with this play at the moment as the snap kick goes around, heading towards Baldwin, who's been in tremendous form lately. Back inside to Fogus. But eventually cleared. That's Epstein out of the way. Out of defence, rather. And finds Demi Norton. They don't pass to each other often. They usually play on opposite wings. And then cleaned up beautifully at the back, not for the first time in this match already, by Tiani Brown, who's come up from Shepparton. But no, it's partly the... beautiful from O'Brien. But yeah, when you've got the ball most often, then you don't have to make as many tackles. But I think also Southport have ways of defending that don't always involve tackles, where a lot of their pressure acts, well, they don't necessarily get a stat on the sheet, but they absolutely affect the direction of the opponent's attack.
So O'Brien probably just a little bit too far out to score. Finds Zarafa though. I'm not sure if she was the intended target. However, it's ended up in a very, very good-looking spot to kick this goal.
I'll play the Jeff Newman role here. Of course she was the intended target.
So, of course, our reigning Emma-Zilke medalist never misses a target. But Zarafa now she'll kick from about 25 metres directly in front. The wind's really died down now, so shouldn't cause too many dramas. So she pops that one through on her left foot. Never looked like missing. And that's the first major of the afternoon.
I've loved having Kira Zarafa playing here in Queensland. A Northern Territorian, represented them on several occasions. A couple of games with Wilston Grange last year, and then I think a few of her teammates at various, I want to say Waratah, I'm happy to be corrected, said, no, you come play with us. And she's made every poster winner at Southport this year.
Yeah, her and Maddie Watt have been outstanding this year in that midfield group. Absolutely dominating the clearances. Right across the QAFLW, those two, so very difficult, particularly when you've got the ruck stocks like they do as well, Southport.
I've just been told, while I was writing down the goal scorer's name and you were looking back at the centre, Kira Zarafa celebrated with the worm.
I'm not sure if our camera captured that, but I didn't, so I like that. That's what we love about the women's game sometimes, the creativity and the ability to be yourselves always shines through, which is outstanding. And a huge part of what Pride Round is, as O'Brien takes a great strong mark presenting at the footy, hands it off to, I think, Zarafa again there, sends it long, probably just captured in that breeze and heads out over the far boundary line.
Yeah, beat Usher and Baldwin there. But in the women's game, you get the worm. In the men's game, you get Take Me Home Country Roads. I prefer the worm. And I like John Denver.
We love to see a little bit of personality at the football. And it's great to see when it comes out. So O'Brien again taking the rucking duties. Obviously, a certain Davis and a certain Gregory not in the lineup for Southport today. But ball's in dispute there. O'Brien looks to go and clean this one up. She's had about 10 touches already in this term. Bit of a sloppy pass, however, though, ends up in the hands of Maroochydore, who slaps it on the boot, sends it long. Couple of one-on-ones up the ground here. Just trying to pinball that one forward as Maroochydore will get wrapped up there on centre wing, and we'll have another stoppage.
There was a good clearance from centre halfback before from Marley Marshall, who's a 17-year-old, been at the Lions Academy this year, but she played a very good role in the win over Cooperoo, where they came back from 4 goals down about a month ago.
Yeah, no, one of the great games that it was. Cooperoo's for all money, and Maroochydore came from the clouds. So we certainly know they do have the ability to hit the scoreboard in the dying stages of the game. So it's a long afternoon of footy as the ball comes straight back in towards Southport's forward line. It's been relatively well guarded back there from Maroochydore, given the volume of footy that's been there. And as I say that, I thought that might have been taken there, but it spilled just out over the boundary line. So considering we're just over 9 minutes now and the ball's basically been parked in that forward 50, I think 1 goal 2 is a pretty good result from Maroochydore at this stage. Yeah,
possibly dodged a bullet there with Asher Elliott just dropping it at the crucial moment. Only a second game, made a debut last week in top grade out at UQ. Looked all right in parts, and that moment will come for her.
So beautiful pass there, finds Edgar. She goes short again, just over the head of Norton. So she runs onto this footy now, looks up, not a lot to go to as there's one-on-ones all up the ground. So the ball's in dispute. First time that we've got a good look on this side of the oval, but cleaned up there and straight back into attack goes Southport. So very well read there, however, by Quinlan that was. In fact, that wasn't Quinlan, but I'll just get a number check on that in a moment.
Hang on.
Might have been a late jumper change, so we'll bring you that update at quarter time. But here we go for the first time in forward 50, Maroochydore. They've got numbers to the footy, so Southport will have to be careful here. It's thrown on the left boot there, just rolling forward, and it's going to go out of bounds, just makes it over the boundary line. So dangerous spot here for Maroochydore. If they've got an opportunity to hold it down here and kick a goal, goals against the Breeze, I should say, are worth 3 or 4 goals.
Aren't
today.
they?
So
yeah.
It'll mean a lot here and a lot of reward for effort after half a quarter on the defence, Maroochydore. So just bouncing around, little quick kick out, not quite 15. The umpire says play on. Dangerous spot, got the toe to it. Just wide of the post for Maroochidore's first score of the afternoon.
I don't think behinds are worth double in quite the same way, but see, that's the kind of thing that they've been really good at in the last 3 or 4 rounds, where first of all they can get the ball out of their defensive zone, but secondly they know how to finish. As Maddie Watt turns up, g'day Maddie, we missed you.
Just about her first touch of the afternoon, so no doubt she'll want to get her hands on the footy a little bit more, as Southport just look to run and carry and get that ball forward any way possible. But Maroochydore have chopped this off again. Strong tackle, and we'll have a ball up here. Opportunity for a few rotations as Hunt comes off the ground. I know Daniel will be searching for her 100th goal of the competition at some point today, no doubt.
Have I mentioned that, have I?
It's come across my desk, that's for sure. So Maroochydore now looking all right around the contest. Southport just not getting the freedom that they probably would like around that contest. So great tackling pressure as Maroochydore set themselves up to go ahead here into the forward 50. As just over the head, well done there by Southport as they hand pass out of defence, but puts themselves under a little bit of pressure. Ball's now back in dispute. A few bodies. Umpires found a free kick push in the back, and Southport probably get a little bit of a reprieve there. Yeah,
Billy Misson just a little bit overzealous, but the brilliant work from Marley Marshall again here on the right wing. She was the one who was able to win the ball in the contest and then send it inside 50. Impressive start.
So Zarafa turns that one over though. Puts the side under a bit of pressure. Again, just probably a few little nerves showing at the moment. Maroochydore, whilst not a lot of territory so far, they've certainly got the pressure gauge right up. Yep. So as you tick through about 13 minutes played, I did say the breeze has dropped a little bit, but certainly favouring to left of screen at the moment.
I've said this in the other games, but at half-time of the Cooper UQ game, I went downstairs. I turned one way and the wind was blowing in my face. I immediately turned around and the wind was blowing in my face the other way.
Swirling breeze. Swirling breeze.
Yeah, swirling around Big Fat Daniel, but anyway.
So Watt's got the footy now. She elects to go corridor, take some ground, but has turned that one over well marked
by number 26, who we've just sent Hannah Davies downstairs to investigate who that is. Brilliant from Tiani Brown.
It's the beauty of Pride round. The fresh jumpers come out of the box, and there's always a couple of name changes. So Zarafa now, she's had a heap of the footy again this term. She'll swing onto that left boot and send it long in the direction of O'Brien. She's pushed under the footy. That Maroochidore's defensive line again holding up quite well. As numbers here, clever little hand pass out, so they've just got enough time to poise and send it long. Dangerous spot up the corridor if they can get out the backside here, but Southport managed to chop that one off. And Watt's got the footy. She releases the hand pass out, I think, to
it's goals.
The far side of the ground there. So the ball not coming overly clean here for the Sharks, but a little bit of clever work by Kimber there. She sends it into the centre of the ground. Dangerous spot now. The Southport look to find a clear open spot. Well smothered. And well done by Maroochydore there. Again, repelling another forward 50 entry, and that's a strong mark. They've got runners out here. We've seen this a couple of times today. If you can get out the back, there is a lot of space here at the South Pine Sporting Complex. There's a very strong bit of bodywork there. There's Maroochydore players lining up everywhere at the moment as Zarafa lays a strong tackle to put the pressure on. The ball just bouncing around. Maroochydore players are still forward of this contest if they can keep going. So Norton now has a bounce, has another bounce. She keeps running into 50, has another bounce. She could almost have a shot here. The pressure comes, tackles miss. She's definitely within range. Goes back and unfortunately hits the post. Again, another post today. We've seen quite a few of those. We might have to get the tape measure out at quarter time and make sure that they are regulation width. But
5.7 metres, have I got that right?
Unfortunate for Maroochydore there. Demi Norton, one of the absolute young stars of the competition, just, had a chance to kick goal of the year there and maybe one for behind of the year. So Maroochydore, though, make sure that there's no easy ball out for Southport. So
Should point out Mitchell Simpson is the competitions manager. If he says behind of the year is a thing, it is officially now a thing.
we're always looking for new awards to be given out. So
Should point out Ruby Mitchell was down injured for a brief period before, but has been able to get up. I don't think any lingering effects.
So Hunt with a little one-hand pick-up and kick there. She's been given a free kick, I think. They've picked one off the border, Hannah Davies. So she immediately looks in corridor side. But there's certainly been a real appetite for Southport, I think, to try and keep this footy on this side of the ground. They've obviously had 3 looks at it today to try and not get pegged down on that far side of the oval. So the ball's been driven forward by Casey. Big group of players jump up. Hand pass out the front of the pack here, though, releases Southport again. But just a little bit of confusion by the Southport defenders as they look to try and go. It's a bit of a 3-on-1 there if Maroochydore can get this footy out again. They've certainly come in with an intent, Maroochydore, to get numbers to the pack and keep that ball locked in as they're doing. So
It was Ruby Mitchell who charged into that pack before and was ended up laying the tackle, so she's clearly fine.
So Ship now at the far side. Bit of space here, but again, just not clean possession here for Southport. Hand passes a little bit awry, but they've managed to clean up well through Ship again. So she goes inboard, finds Fogus. Fogus sends along and it becomes a foot race here. O'Brien uses her strength, just pushes off. Illegally, says the umpire. And Maroochydore get out of jail there. I think Steph might have been running into an open goal to kick her first major of the afternoon.
And that's one of the things that the Roos have loved about Axel Oswald this year. O'Brien has the reputation. Oswald is building hers. And, you know, we can argue about whether every umpire would have given that free kick. But just the fact that she was able to bump O'Brien and keep her feet for a start is something not everyone in this comp has managed over the past 4 years.
No, absolutely not. She's a very strong player through the contest, O'Brien. But as the ball's balled up again by the umpire, Southport managed to get first touch on that. But on a right hand pass, puts her players under pressure. So Ship with the footy now cleans up back through the centre of the ground. So the ball's now just at the feet of a few players. Well picked up there as we a few link up hand passes. Zarafa on the right side for a left footer to put this through. Doesn't make any mistake in that one. Casual as you like. And Zarafa kicks her second of the afternoon.
And just to give credit where it's due, that was Asher Elliott, who's been playing well in reserve grade for Southport. Obviously, you know, had a bit of an error in front of goal before, but I think she handled twice in that movement, a couple of quick 1-2 handballs. And for a young player, I think she's, 17 years old and probably not that 17 either, as in, I forget what I'm trying to say, let's move on. But for her to have the confidence to run through a top-grade defensive lineup, that's a big achievement. And hopefully that gives her a lot more confidence going into, well, the rest of her career. That's a bit ground, but certainly the rest of the season.
They'll just a couple of minutes left as the clock ticks down to this first quarter. You'd like to think Maroochydore, given us a couple of goal breeze, will be pretty happy with how they've lined up in this first term. So the experienced Hunt sends it out wide to her captain in Ship. There's a little bit of space to play with, but she's quickly corralled, manages to get around and sends his ball in forward 50 once again. So the opportunity here to go back-to-back late in the term as Baldwin just assesses her options. No one really coming up, so she's got to just bomb it long. As a number of Maroochydore players converge on this, it'd be very difficult for anyone to take a mark in that setting. There's a little toe poke there, gets the ball out to the far side, and probably where Maroochydore want that footy to stay for the final minute of this term, I imagine. So they get out of jail again. Just as far as the Sharks jumpers, however, send it straight back into play, and a strong mark there taken. I can't quite see.
That's Elliott again.
Elliott. What's the opposite to the commentator's curse? When you start to give someone a good pump up, they start to see a little bit more of the footy, Daniel.
That's the commentator's blessing. I've never had one. I don't know what it feels like, but clearly you're living it.
Well, she's going to be kicking from probably about 35-40 out here, which may just test her range a little bit. But as the clock winds down, I suspect this will be one of the last opportunities Southport have to kick in front of goal. Strikes it pretty well. Distance, absolutely not a problem as all. As that go through his post high, but just to the right-hand side for another behind.
Elliott has 40-metre range. Noted. Okay. So you have to commentate next week too, Mitch. So, these are important.
So no one on the mark there. Maroochydore takes a bit of space. Tries to clear that ball out as far away from goal as possible. And they do it again. 10 seconds to go. I think we'll struggle to find another score here in this quarter. But you'd like to think that Maroochydore will come away very pleased with the 20 minutes of football they've shown here. In the first quarter, 0-2 they trail Southport 2-3-15.
And just the two behind some Maroochydore. Kira Zarafa scoring both goals for Southport. As the Sharks definitely had the better of the first term. But we hope you're enjoying the coverage here. Round 12 of the Bond University QAFLW. And thanks to Jarrah Corporate for their sponsorship of this, the 5th QAFLW Pride Round. fourth and final game. And it's not 3 quarters to go. It's 13 quarters gone. I don't really want today to finish, but this is the fourth game. Maroochydore versus Southport. Southport, who going for their 10th win on the trot today. I may have miscounted. Maybe it's the 9th. Either way, it's a lot. They are leading by 13 points at quarter time. 2 goals, 3-15. Kira Zarafa scoring both goals. Maroochydore with the 2 behinds. My name's Daniel Viles. With me is Mitch Simpson. Mitch, I think what we saw, Maroochydore broke away a couple of times, but they were very much breakaways. They didn't have any sustained periods in the forward 50. But also I felt some of the players who were making sure that Southport kept it forward. One was Ebony Milne in the number 34 jersey, who nominally a winger, but was very good, I thought, at making sure the ball just never got past that sort of 80 metres out from goal.
Yeah, certainly the ball parked in Maroochidore's defensive half for a fair amount of that game, but they've got the first clearance today through McMillan, so she sends the ball long. Strong mark there, though. Southport chopped that one off. So
that's Brown again.
It's the ball is going to spend a fair bit of time in that area of the ground. Southport, the first real side of the day that are prepared to come out to this near wing as the Rafa goes in again. Just overruns the footy a little bit. Ship now with the ball. Bouncing around. Maroochydore try and pick it up through Tognazzini.
She's been a good addition to this side this year. Came up from the VAFA, Victorian Amateur League. And done some good things both in the back and on the ball.
So Pearce taps it down now. Well read by Zarafa. She gets the hand pass forward as Tognazzini goes with that footy. She spills it. Zarafa goes and cleans up again. In fact, I'll be corrected. That was Foggis with the footy. We'll have another ball up just inside the centre square. Commentary wing here at the beautiful South Pine Complex. And a big shout out to the Aspie Football Club for their work in bringing together today's Jara Corporate Pride Round flagship event in the Bond University QAFLW. As clever little hand pass there releases Maroochydore as now they stream in. Open shot at goal. Last line of defence. Just couldn't be quite taken there. As the Sharks rebound that footy out and clear it as far away from goal as possible, finding their boundary line. And a good result there and probably escaped pretty well there to not have a goal kicked against them.
Let's replay that. That was Imogen David's shot at goal. It just held up. Lucy McKecken, brilliant leap in the goal square. And was she playing volleyball? She kind of threw it back in, almost rugby league style, trying to keep it in from the boundary. And they've got a stoppage. She's a former soccer player, Lucy McKecken, so... yeah, not quite sure which instincts took over, but it was great to watch.
So Hunt with the footy, true centre wing, far side of the oval. Just assessing her options, kicks along just over the head though, well marked by Maroochydore in defence. Who've been impressive that centre half back line, as we touched on before, without one of the key back stars of the game in O'Grady. They're standing tall, the young defensive Roos line up here. So just called the play on, gets pinned and puts herself under a little bit of pressure as the ball bounces around. As a pack of players converge on that, the umpire lets it roll a little bit until they say, that's mine, we'll ball it up, thank you.
Orla Crowley is in the number 26 jersey, was named in 48, which means we can now credit her for some of the very good intercept work she did at centre halfback in the first term, and also some good tackling work. So, yeah, Orla Crowley can be very happy with her Pride round so far.
So Maroochydore again go through the centre of the ground. It is the quickest way to home. Couple of link-up hand passes there. See them go back inside forward 50. Just over the head of...
that's Baltaze back there in number 16.
Yeah, I was about to call that as Hopkins, but that didn't quite look right. So, dangerous part of the ground here again, as Maroochydore have almost done what Southport did in the first term and just pegged the ball down in that end of the ground. So they're in a dangerous spot, and they need to get a bit of reward for effort here if they're to put some scoreboard pressure on to the mighty Southport Sharks. So players going down all over the footy here as Ship cleans up. Hand pass in a very dangerous position. Quick
McKecken.
opportune. Mark. Snap even on goal is the word I was looking for. And McKecken kicks the first of the afternoon for Maroochydore.
Not a noted forward, Lucy McKecken. As I said, came from a soccer background. Usually plays in defence, either centre halfback or on the flank. Showed some expert skills there. And before that, Jess McMillan in the number 3, she has been playing half-forward flank all year, but we saw her make a good burst out of the middle with the initial clearance, and then there was another passage just before that where she was able to get on the ball and then break through the middle as well. She's underrated, Jess McMillan. I don't know, forgive me, I keep forgetting the eligibility for the Rising Star. I think she's... I think she might be 19 or 20 and therefore a little bit old for it, but...
yeah, under 19 in the QAFLW.
Thank you, yeah. But I think she's underrated, Jessie McMillan. I think slowly news of how good she is just seeping out through the Bond University QAFLW.
Yeah, certainly one that's very highly rated internally. I know a number of conversations with the Maroochydore footy department talk about the Calandra recruit, I should say, as being outstanding. So O'Brien with the footy now. Looks like a free kick's been picked up there just in the contest.
I think it's a credit to the Maroochydore Footy Club. They can get anyone to leave Calandra. Why would you leave Calandra? It's beautiful.
Well, Maroochidore's not a bad spot to play football at either. So, strong intercept mark there by Jordan. So, she just poises what's ahead. Plenty of one-on-one, so just elects to kick deep. A couple of players out the back here if they get an opportunity to mark and go. And that's what happens. So, the players start to roll now downfield. No one really demanding her to kick the footy to her, though. So, flies now over the back. A couple of Southport players go to mop this up, but the ball continues to spill in the direction of Maroochidore's goal. Quick slap on the boots, effective there by Southport, and they look to quickly rebound straight through to the centre of the ground. But again, they're probably just letting themselves down a little bit with their disposal efficiency at the moment, Southport. Certainly a credit to the pressure of Maroochydore.
Which makes me wonder if the wind is swirling. Sorry, Mitch.
No, you're right. I agree, Daniel. I think that the wind's certainly dying and taking a little bit less pressure on the game, but another possession there by Rankin as she slaps it long. Maroochydore can't quite get a clean mark here at the moment, but they're first to the footy. Dangerous spot, great diving tackle there. Holding the ball. Great last-ditch pressure defence.
Conceded the free. We don't have a number 47 on our list, but I'll get to work.
It's all right. It was a real goal-saving tackle. I think it was McKetchin again, was probably going to be streaming towards goal with not a lot in front of us. So Southport now with the footy. Watt goes 1-2. Spills out, however, and Pluples keeps charging on to about her second or third touch in that passage of play and spots up a teammate in the centre of the ground, which has been an area of the ground that there's been a lot of turnovers today. So it's the first real time they've been able to transition that footy from half back into half forward, and as they still maintain the footy, albeit making it hard work for themselves, they will get an opportunity, I suspect, to go forward 50. But again, the Maroochydore defence is just standing tall and not allowing any of that footy to get through.
And Demi Norton, nominally a winger, but she is so adept at knowing when to become the +1 in defence and drop back.
Yeah, she certainly played that deep forward, backward flank role in the QAFLW game when they took on the Suns earlier in the year, and yeah, very versatile player, Norton, and again another one that's certainly one of the young stars of our competition. There's a confident run and bounce here out of the back line. Plenty of space here at the Southport Sports Complex. Always affords a fair opportunity for the player willing to run and bounces. O'Brien slaps the ball on the boot, touched off the footy. Maroochydore numbers everywhere in this back line at the moment. They're lining up, sort of looking at themselves. Who wants that football? As they manage to turn the ball over and get it back in possession. Great fighting defence there by Foggers to win that ball 1-on-3. She gets it across to O'Brien, who sends a sloppy kick forward, and Maroochydore again managed to mop up. Rebound out, though, only as far as, I think that's Pierce, who's could have nearly turned around and waltzed in a forward 50 by herself. It's but a little bit of a mistake there, just slows proceedings up as she sends it long. One-on-one's up the ground, unable to be marked. Umpires picked up a little, holding the player free kick there.
Yeah, just some early hands in defence, which has undone some good work. Particularly Marley Marshall again was instrumental in getting it outside 50. But just too many players. And you're right about Megan Fogus, who, yeah, ex-AFLW player. It's been wonderful having her in our competition this year.
So against the breeze, kicking from about 35 out. It's going to take her best. And her best is what she delivers.
Maddie Baldwin.
Baldwin makes absolutely easy work of that. And kicks their first of the term.
I've said this before on air, but when Maddie Baldwin came into the Southport side last year, I asked a couple of the Southport players, how would you describe the way she plays? And one of them just wrote beast, full stop. This year she's become a forward. That is her 16th goal in 8 games this year. So she's missed 4 games, and I think that would still put her in top 5 for goal scorers for this year. She's been just a revelation in the forward line for Southport this year, both marking and just a very assured set shot.
The umpires have just picked up a small 666 infringement, so...
Sorry, how many? Women's footy?
Yes, correct.
565.
That's good. Good to pick that up, Daniel. It just rolls off the tongue too easily. So Southport now with the footy through Watt, goes out wide. Little clever kick off the side, finds Hunt. She goes back in board to Pearce. Tough one for the ruck to take, but the ball still manages to roll forward. Chopped off again at half back. And Maroochydore are going to come to this near side. So I suspect this wind has really dropped off now if we're seeing the amount of footy played on this side of the oval as we are in this game, as Hunt just looks to steady. And steady she does to her teammate in Alicia Gordon. So Gordon sends it long now. O'Brien wanting the footy. Just worked under it again there by Oswald. She's having an outstanding day at centre-half back. But Pearce runs onto that footy, kicks to an open goal. If it sits up, there might be a chance of going to goal, but it just spins the wrong way and heads out to the left-hand side of the goalpost for another behind.
Hasn't scored yet this year, Avalon Pearce. A couple of goals previously in her career. But no, you're absolutely right about Axel Oswald in defence, and I'd add Orla Crowley to that as well, who was she made an intercept mark at centre-half back a couple of plays back. But yeah, for the most part, Maroochydore are repelling them. It's just that Southport are so good at varying their point of attack. They are using both sides of the field better than any side has today, and just asking lots and lots of different questions of the Maroochydore defence.
So Hunt again with that poise across the midfield. She's probably going to try and ask for this footy again. Doesn't. So Southport now with a chance to go forward again this term. Numbers out the back are dangerous, but Maroochydore have a 3-on-1 here, so they should be able to mop up clear. Good shepherd, but play just gets through. Little hand pass releases a bit of pressure for the time being, but it's all Southport again on the ground. Ball just sort of being slapped forward to try and get that ball back into a dangerous spot, but rolls out over the boundary line.
Well, that slap was the third effort from Alicia Gordon, who chased through a ball that I think most of her teammates had given up on. They were prepared to let Demi Norton run out of defence. Alicia thought, hang on, I'm going to go chase this one. And she did, and this is the reward.
So right down in the shadows as they start to grow along here at the Southbourne Sport Complex. Dangerous spot right as what we would universally determine as the hot spot. So Maroochydore again have done a power of work in defence. You'd like to think that if Southport can get another one or two here, it'll be quite deflating heading into halftime for Maroochydore, but they continue to defend well. As O'Brien again with rucking duties. She just about does it all, doesn't she, Daniel?
Take the words just about out of that sentence. To be able to ruck inside mid and key position forward or back. It's a bit unicorn, isn't it? That means not very many of her.
Yeah, she's a special talent. Strong tackle out that far side. Umpire calls play on. Ball just pinballing around that far side as Pearce just skies that one, looking for Zarafa. She doesn't get to the footy, so Maroochydore will turn it over here at centre-half back. Great smother there, but only as far as the Maroochydore players as they send the ball back through the centre of the ground. They've done that a lot today where they've come back straight through the corridor. Obviously a clear plan from Coach Redpath to say, let's go the shortest route to goal on one of the biggest ovals that most of these women would have played on this year. Yeah,
164 metres long. I'm pretty sure that makes it, it's a bit longer than Southport. Southport's wider. That's enormously wide. Alicia Gordon charged down that previous ball with her head. So she seems to have no ill effects, so no concussion test required, but prepared to do what it takes.
So strong tackle wrapped up out on that far side. Umpire Jones will say, that's mine. We'll have another ball up. So 6 minutes to go in the first half of the final game of today's Bond University QAFLW Jara Corporate Pride Round flagship event. It's always a hallmark on our calendar, and it's great to see some pretty unreal football played today. A couple of big games in terms of finals contention as well. We saw UQ knock off Cooperoo earlier in game 2, which certainly makes the race for the 4th spot a little bit interesting over the coming weeks, and certainly the top 3 is far beyond set as Bond prevailed over Aspley and Southport here leading Maroochydore. The race is wide open as we head towards final season.
Well, Cooperoo's loss means that there is a race for 4th. It would have been over had they won today. They would have been too far ahead, but now there are 4 teams that can get that 4th spot. Obviously, they don't all have an equal chance. Cooperoo's still in the box seat. But the point is, Maroochydore, if they can cause an upset today, and they're only, 14 points behind, and weird things happen on Pride Round, as we saw particularly last year, then, it's this competition. I love, yes, the top 3 are probably a bit of a class apart at the moment, but the bottom of this competition has never been stronger. So good to watch all round.
And certainly over the coming weeks, naturally with the Queensland under-18s playing today, there's a number of our emerging talent that will no doubt slot their way back into the various sides over the coming weeks as we do head to finals. So it's very exciting as we head towards the tail end of the 2024 season. As the umpires just picked up a holding free kick there. As we sort of spent a couple of minutes locked down here on that far side. Holding the ball, I would imagine there. Yep, dropping the footy. Great tackle.
And 50 for just dropping the ball next to the player as well. Umpires don't cop that. If you are going to be lazy handing the ball back, they'll make you run backwards for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, and that's a coach killer with just a couple of minutes remaining in the half. Maroochydore have defended well again. Just the 1 goal kicked against them this term. They'll no doubt be looking to send this deep into forward 50 and spend the next couple of minutes searching for their second of the afternoon. Although a quick punch out the front of the contest. Doesn't really event too much as Southport's hand pass goes awry. Doesn't quite make it. Clever there by Hunt. Her little hand pass, however, is to no avail with Tiani Brown being chased down. So Maroochydore in a real golden opportunity here as we enter the dying stages of the second quarter. Great long penetrating kick. Chance to kick here off the ground. Scrappy footy. Oh, I thought the toe poke might have gotten away there, but a behind is all that results of that.
Yeah, good opportunism from David, but Kaylee Kimber was awake to it. She was on the move before David toe poked that. Thought it's going to need someone on the goal line here, and she was that. Love her kicking style, Kaylee Kimber. Build a statue of that, please. Is that a you issue or a Southport issue?
Depends where the statue's getting built, but maybe take that one up with the Southport Footy Club. But yes, Kimber absolutely a star of the competition. There's the ball in familiar territory on that far side of the ground, just underneath the scoreboard.
You sounded slightly resentful as you said that, Mitch.
Well, I think unfortunately the crowd hasn't enjoyed the footy being on this side of the oval today. Well, sorry, hasn't enjoyed it not being on this side of the oval too much today. So
I've watched AFLW games from over there. Why not just take a walk around?
Well, the shadows are certainly starting to grow long here across the oval. And it's certainly starting to freshen up as well. It's been quite a cold day here.
Cold but humid was my impression, although I've been in here all day. How do you find it out there?
Yes, it doesn't matter about the temperature. It's been great vibes all day. Pride Round obviously bringing some good vibes right across the footy oval here at South Pine. It's been a day filled with a Red Bull truck, spinning the tunes on the DJ decks. We've had market stalls. We've had super kick activations. We've had it all today here in what is, as I've touched on a couple of times, one of the true great days on the AFLQ calendar. Just under 90 seconds left in the term now. The ball again is being stuck out on that far wing. No one really able to take any sort of assertion in this game as at the moment anyways. The Rafa finds a little clearance and gets it forward. And they may get one last chance to send this ball forward, Southport. but it's going to be cut off again there by Edgar, I think that is on the far side.
I believe you're correct.
I didn't even need binoculars for that one, Daniel.
Yeah,
so
rub it in, you young man.
Maroochydore will come back inside, so there's a good opportunity to go forward now in the dying stages, but it's just been spilt there and pinballing around, as I suspect this ball will probably go out over the boundary line.
No, free kick has been given to Southport. I think it may be ruled held in. I didn't see the signal before the free kick was awarded. Apologies.
So O'Brien presents at the footy. She might have been held there.
Yeah, Maxwell Oswald just had the hands on O'Brien a little early. This would be a killer if Southport could sneak one here.
With about 15 seconds remaining now, that ball spilling out over the boundary line. I have a feeling that will be all she wrote for the first term here, or the first half, I should say, here at the Bond University QAFLW Pride Round action. Big thanks to Jara Corporate, who are obviously partying with AFLQ statewide as we deliver one of the most important rounds on our calendar.
Half-time, Southport 3-4-22. 2 goals to Kira Zarafa, 1 to Maddie Baldwin. Lucy McKecken is the lone goal scorer for Maroochydore. They're 1-3-9. It's a 13-point lead to the Southport Sharks. Thank you for joining us here on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. It is Bond University QAFLW Round 12, and it is Jara Corporate Pride Round.
Inside this building is a simulated hospital ward, a high-tech biomechanics lab, a commercial kitchen, and a whole virtual home. Let's explore the new Bond Institute of Health and Sport in just 61 seconds. This is the 12-bed simulation hospital ward. From day one, Bond students gain hands-on experience in allied health and exercise science. This is the Work Play Lab, which gives students the opportunity to provide occupational therapy for our youngest, while the Activities of Daily Living Lab simulates a full home environment, giving students the chance to practice mobility work with our wisest. From sprinting to golf swings, this track can track it. Using pressure sensors and high-speed cameras, it can analyze anything from age-related conditions to elite sports training. Wow. The kitchen lab has solar-powered sustainable cooking stations, giving postgrad nutrition and dietetic students access to commercial-grade equipment. Thank you. Why don't you come and check out the Bond Institute of Health and Sport for yourself? Did you know Bond students have been in every Olympics since '92? How do they do it? I've got 61 seconds to race you through the life of a student in the Bond Elite Sport program. Strap in. Bond is known for its prowess in the sporting domain, supporting student athletes like Mia. Student athletes have access to flexible study loads, adjusted academic requirements, and tutoring. The top tier of student athletes even receive funding to assist with their travel and competition costs. Bond also runs 4 high-performance sporting programs that field competitive teams. There's netball, rugby, AFL, and swimming. With incredible facilities throughout campus, it means you can easily transition from this to this. Whether it's producing world-class athletes or offering scholarships to high-achieving students every single year, sport is alive and well at Bond University.
This is South Pine Sporting Complex at Brendale. I forget whether Aspley owns it and leases it to Moreton Bay Council or the other way round. But either way, Aspley have been wonderful hosts here today. We're half-time in the fourth and final match. Southport leading Maroochydore by 13 points. 2 goals to Kira Zarafa and 1 to Maddie Baldwin for Southport, 1 goal to Lucy McKecken for Maroochydore. My name's Daniel Viles, and I've been joined for this match and gleefully overtaken for this match, actually, by the AFLQ competitions manager, Mitch Simpson. Mitch, you've said a couple of times on commentary quite rightly just how important this day is in the footy calendar. First of all, can you talk about that? And secondly, not everything that AFLQ is doing for Pride Round is happening here at Brendale today.
No, that's right, and thank you, Daniel, and I'll give a quick shout-out to yourself. It's a monumental effort to commentate all 4 games of footy across one afternoon, so it's great to have you right across, or bringing the QAFLW right across our waves all day. But yes, as you touched on, it's an incredibly important round for AFL Queensland. Our mantra is we want to have footy in every home, and we want football to be something that everyone can enjoy, whether you're spectating, whether you're playing, whether you're officiating, and no matter what your background is, whether it be your we want everyone to be welcome at the footy. Pride Round is obviously proudly supported this year by Jara Corporate, and,
yes.
and what it's done is enabled us to deliver a number of education sessions right across the state as well. We've been able to get in front of our umpiring group, Bond University, Morningside, Aspley, as well as engaging a number of clubs down the line as well on an online session we held last week. So a huge thank you to Pride Sport, and in particular Ben, who helped deliver those sessions over the last fortnight as we led into the round. But
just to cut in, is that still associated with the Pride Cup group originally from Melbourne, or moved away from that now? Because it's grown so much.
Yeah, correct. And there's a number of organisations right across the country that do great things in the Pride space as well. And it's been outstanding the way that our sort of Pride landscape has grown over a couple of years, and particularly what this event does for the Pride space across the Queensland footy calendar. But I know there's some big activations certainly happening. I know the Noosa women today, the Eastern Swans up in Mackay, Toowoomba Tigers are doing something today as well. The Rockhampton Panthers as well. Yep. So there's a huge array of clubs right across the state that are getting behind Jarrah Corporate Pride Round this year, and it's great to see that more and more sides are getting on board. And certainly this has always been the flagship event of the round in what has been the cluster event, we'll call it, of the QAFLW. But certainly a really great statewide initiative that's been in place for quite a few years now, and certainly for our point of view and AFL Queensland's point of view, hugely important in what we deliver to the community beyond just our football ovals.
Now, I'm looking for the positives from next year, because next year, wonderfully, this competition, the Bond University QAFLW, grows to 10 teams, which means I'm guessing that's probably logistically just too big for one day of football. But what do you see as the positives from that? Because next year, if we do go to a host club, have to sort of generate the Pride celebrations, are clubs already responding positively to that and coming up with ideas? How's the momentum looking there?
Yeah, certainly I think for a long time a lot of players look forward to this day as a huge event and celebration, but what we're seeing is more and more clubs wanting to do their own day, their own spin on things, celebrate what Pride means to their club and their community. There's certainly been a number of clubs that their men's side, for example, who are playing right around the country, or right around the state today.
Probably the country as well, but your point is the state, yes.
Wanting to, get engaged, and, how do we bring clubs together and celebrate, what is diversity in our sport. So, look, obviously, working through a bit of an evolution period in the QAFLW. So, what next year exactly looks like will remain to be seen. But, certainly I think the opportunity to expand the reach of Pride Round has been, certainly something that we're looking forward to over the next couple of years.
Might ask you a slightly more personal question. I mean, I'm in my late 40s, which is a bit older than you, but I mean, I remember what footy clubs and sporting clubs were like, in the 80s and 90s. I remember how we used to talk about people, or insult people basically, from the LGBTIQA plus community. And I mean, I'm someone who's had to learn a lot along the way and unlearn a lot of things. Just in terms of, you don't have to be sort of personal about yourself, but even just in what you've seen in and around football clubs, and I mean, you played for a fair while, are you able to sort of talk about, and maybe, if there are examples that come to mind, but talk about the change that you've seen just in your lifetime in footy?
I may not speak to any specific examples and call anything specifically out, but what I will do, I guess, is say that, Yeah, I think we're always getting better. We're always evolving, and Pride Round and these kind of events go a long way to improving the overall inclusion and sort of diversity space within our sport. But I guess what I would like to call out is that we're always learning and there's always more to do, and that's a big thing for us, is to not look at this round and say that we do a great job of what Pride Round has become, but how to continually do it better and continually to make football a truly inclusive place. We've seen some great clubs do some great things, and as you said, the space is evolving, and I think we do a wonderful job, but there's always room to improve and learn, and certainly these days are a big part of that journey.
And just personally, what I see, this is the 4th Pride Round I've been lucky enough to talk at all day, which is a labour of love, I can assure you. But, I mean, first of all, it's great for the younger people who have largely grown up just accepting what we might call the rainbow or queer community. But seeing those old people who had to fight for recognition and fight for equality, some are people, the players in their 30s and 40s, and sometimes I just see them beaming at a day like this. So, well done, Mitch, for your role in putting today on. I know Maddie Crowley-Long's had a bit to do with today as well.
Yeah, I just get the pleasure of sitting here and sitting on the microphone. There's a power of work done by a number of people, particularly within our AFL Queensland's Pride Working Group, headed up by Maddie Crowley-Long, obviously featured earlier for UQ in their win over Cooperoo. But we're back to the football. There is one final half of State League women's footy action here, as we'll have a repeat stoppage just after the ball up, as the shadows that were growing long now take over the whole field and the lights start to take effect as we hit the little twilight period of the afternoon. So Watt O'Brien trying to fight between that one. O'Brien muscles her way out, but Maroochydore managed to mop it up. A few on the outside though, however. Pearce trying to get at that ball, doesn't quite get it. Pinballing around Ship, she's dragged off it. A few cries for holding the ball, but Maroochydore try to send that ball forward. And they're the first ones to move that ball beyond the centre needle.
Could have used that, thank you.
So still bouncing around. I thought that might have been ball up there, but Southport managed to squeeze one out. But Maroochydore got the extra and managed to mop that up cleanly. So Norton, very clean hands back there. She may get the footy back here as they just look up. Little bit of a nothing kick there. So turns the ball over. Focus with the footy. She goes inside to Watt. Watt's kick smothered. So again, that half back line of... Whoa! Kaylee Kimber comes flying in there with an absolute diving chance at smothering that footy and turns defence into attack. So Southport with the extra out here now. They've got an opportunity. Ship hand passes it off as it bounces around. Dangerous kick. Probably could have been marked there, but they've got the first major of the quarter.
Hannah Davies.
There's an unconventional way to get there, but they all count.
And that's only Hannah's 2nd goal of the year. And I say only, not because I think she's having a bad year, but simply because as the rainbow flags go out, simply because she's someone who's used to scoring a lot of goals in a year. And this year she's rather selflessly played more of a provider role. So to see her get on the board, I don't care how unconventional it is. As they're just trying to get the ball back, very good safety rule in, I think it's Aussie rules everywhere, is the umpires can't leave the playing arena. So unfortunately, there isn't a complementary law, which is that the host club needs to station small children at various points around the ground. But back to Hannah Davies, who, and you're absolutely right. I mean, Kimber, the way she charges onto that ball and can turn play around in a second, I don't want to put pressure on her, but I have said on air before, I don't think her AFLW career is over. I just see too much talent there. Yes, recruiters, I'm talking to you. And it ended up with a Hannah Davies goal by whatever means.
We talk about recruiters. There was one head coach of I should say premiership coach of the Brisbane Lions circling before, watching on intently. So they're obviously deep into their pre-season, the Lions at the moment. There's a little bit of confusion about looks like another centre bounce infringement. So
Abby Richard in the middle.
Maroochydore get the clearance. But mopped up there by Southport as they rebound long.
That was Ebony Milne again, not the first time she's cleaned up today.
So it looks like Jordan with the footy deep. Just coming looking to get back inside that corridor. Kick to no real advantage for her team as the ball gets passed along through a couple of, probably indirect hand passes. They've put themselves all under pressure again as that ball just looks to get, I was going to say bounced around, but it looks like dropping the footy. So holding the ball free kick goes the way of O'Brien. She wastes no time, gets his ball moving quickly as she spots a teammate out the far side. just over the head of Ship. And we'll have another boundary throw-in directly under the scoreboard there on the far side of the oval.
Just back on Kimber's play before, I'll give myself a plug here. There's an article on the AFLQ website now where I just had some fun picking out each club's best moments in Pride rounds over the now 5 that we've had. And yes, Kaylee Kimber had a key role in the winning goal against Cooperoo 2 years ago. So go check out the article and make me happy.
That's it, love the work. It's aflq.com.au.
That would have been handy to say too, yeah.
So as the ball rolls over the boundary line again, we'll have another boundary throw in.
Just seeing very congested on the far side. There's nothing on the open side at the moment, which means even if Maroochydore get the ball, they would need to still keep it narrow and really work their way up. They're not in position to switch if they gain possession.
So no one can really take a clean possession here, but Maroochydore managed to get a couple of passes to each other to release forward of the contest here. So what can they conjure up on that far side of the oval? Strong work there as Ship cleans up the footy. She's been everywhere at the moment, Ship. Really leading from the front as she does week in, week out for her Southport troops. But just a little bit of pinball at the moment as that ball goes back and forth, back and forth.
That's Milne's 4th intercept mark of the quarter.
So the ball heads in now again. Forward 50 for the Sharks. Again, that Maroochydore backline that we've kept harping on about all day. Stand tall as they repel. But focus with the footy now. Sends it forward. A couple of one-on-ones up the ground, but Maroochydore do have the overlap on the defensive side. And again, strong tackling pressure rewarded.
That was Quilliam, who also made a big clearing kick before. That's not one of her better kicks, but even that went about 30 metres.
Well, it's ended up making about 40 to 50 by the time it's rolled out over the boundary line there. So a good territory gainer there. So we're about 5-6 minutes in to this third term here, and no one's really stood up to take the game by the scruff of the neck just yet.
Does Southport need to? I mean, they're in control. It doesn't really need a game breaker for them, but yeah, just looking around the Maroochydore side, just seeing, I mean, McMillan's the obvious one who has shown throughout the year that she can just grab a game and decide, no, it's going this way. We shall see.
I guess reflecting on that game earlier in the year where we saw Maroochydore come from behind and pip Cooperoo, we do know that Maroochydore will be coming home with the breeze in the final term. So Southport will no doubt be wanting to put a couple of goals on here to just really take the sting out of this game. But as Maroochydore continued to edge closer to goal against the breeze, Southport managed to mop this one up and come back through. I was about to say through the centre of the ground, but they opt to switch wide. Got the overlap now, but the kick just goes over their head. Maroochydore, first to that footy, strong effort there by Quillam as she drives through. Number of plays forward to the footy for Maroochydore. If they manage to get a clean possession here, they might be out. Play streaming back to goal. Good pressure there by Davies. Just makes the footy spill, but Maroochydore got all the numbers. Great tackle. Goal-saving tackle potentially.
No, that's Kimber again. I think Kimber, Fogus and Milne have probably been my top 3 for Southport so far in the game, just to think a fair way ahead.
So Rafa's had plenty of it today as well, alongside a couple of goals, but she's turned that one over. Maroochydore again, their intercept pressure's been great today, but ball's just pumping through there through Plupel. She's been good this quarter. Hunt gets the footy inside to O'Brien. Great releasing hand pass into a dangerous spot. Southport have got a 2-on-1 up the ground. Player streaming towards goal in Nurse. She's calling for the footy. Elects not to go that way, but there's numbers out everywhere now for Southport as Davies under pressure here, 3-on-1. They all get sucked into the contest and a releasing hand pass, but Maroochydore have just managed to put enough pressure on there for that hand pass to go wayward, and unfortunately though Maroochidore's kick doesn't really find a teammate, and it just manages to sort of bounce around, putting themselves back under pressure as O'Brien tries to clear that ball out, but it will be held up.
Good work one-on-one with O'Brien from Abby Toniazzini. And Southport, I like that they were calm, but they were probably just slightly too casual with that attempt on goal, and no disrespect to Hannah Davies.
And I think reflecting on Maroochidore's ability to just be 2, 3, 4 plays to the contest, all day they've just wanted to put the pressure on and have more bodies around the ball. And we're seeing it again here. There's 2, 3, 4 players out as they clear. Unfortunately, that's the kick that's let them down a couple of times today, as it's intercepted and the ball goes bouncing straight back into their forward 50 for Southport. Strong body off the ball, little hand pass out. Watt's going to try and pick that one up. She's got a bit of space. So Rafa's quickly jumped on by a few players, but she's managed to squeeze one long.
Baldwin again.
And Baldwin's taken a mark on a very tight angle. Probably only going to have to kick from about 25, 30 out. And we know after their first quarter she's certainly got the legs to kick the distance. But the breeze here swirling around. I won't write her off, but this will be a very difficult kick from this spot.
I'm cursed, so I'll say she'll miss. Oh, it worked. That's not what's supposed to happen.
And that one's out on the full.
Still in good position, and Maddie Baldwin, given she hasn't been playing forward, at least in this competition, that long, her ability just to know when to lead, to be able to get into that space. Sure, it was a difficult shot on goal, but she would have also been looking in field to see if she had an option straighter. In the end, chose to take the shot. Didn't work this time. She'll get other opportunities.
So Zarafa strong again. She'll go around with that left foot, as she always does. Hunt with a footy, releasing hand pass, doesn't find a teammate. She'll call for a back here out the back. But the Maroochydore tackle's too strong, wrapped up, and we'll have another ball up. So we ticked through the halfway mark of this third term. Maroochydore doing everything they can to hold this Southport juggernaut from scoring in this quarter. And again, numbers around the contest. Maroochydore have managed to squeeze this one forward. Great pick up on the run there. Might have been Rasmussen, I think, on that far side. As the lights...
Yeah, missed that, sorry.
Slowly begin to take effect.
It's a lovely time of day. And the lights are necessary in taking effect, but it's actually, yeah, we've got a bit of purple sky in the background. And Dion, Brooke Sleep, other photographers, they'll be licking their lips right now. This is good material. And good football in front of it. Not quite as good as the full moon in the South Queensland, North Queensland games.
And you've mentioned a couple of photographers there, but just a big shout out to all the auxiliary roles and people that contribute to our great game each week and capture the entirety of what our football landscape is, from the behind the scenes in the change rooms to the quarter time huddles. It's an outstanding work for our photography and social media fraternity around the grounds. So a free kick there over the shoulder, a little bit sloppy by Southport. So Maroochydore again look to repel this one. Kicks only as far as Fogus, however. There's play streaming back to goal. Hunt calling for it. It's a 3-on-1 though, nearly a 4-on-1. Maroochydore just refused to be beaten at the contest. So they've got numbers here. The ball just bounces around, however. Opportunity. Now Southport make the most of that. So Davies throws it on her right boot again. But Maroochydore, seemingly with more plays on the field at times, they are just outnumbering the Southport at every contest.
How calm was that from Epstein? Just caught it before the half volley and stood up like it was no big deal.
So dropped one she probably should have taken there. It's the kick, it's the mark and the kick just out of centre half back that continues to put them under pressure. But you can't fault the back six for their defensive efforts today, and alongside the wings and the centres that have dropped back nicely as well to support all afternoon. Maroochydore have been fighting a really strong defensive effort here from a Southport side who can hit the scoreboard and can hit it well. It's been a really gallant effort so far, and as I touched on before, Maroochydore can close out games extremely well, and they'll be coming home with a breeze. So Southport will be wary of that, and will no doubt be looking to hit hopefully a couple of goals late if you're a Sharks supporter.
It's a good point you make about Maroochidore's ability to come home, and really just conceding one goal in this term is a very big deal. Just one thing, if Southport do crack it and it's Megan Hunt on the end of it, do you promise to go off your tree, Mitchell Simpson?
I think it would be remiss of me to not hand over the microphone duties to you, Daniel, but we won't worry about that just yet because Maroochydore continue to repel.
And Hayley Edgar, she's had a few intercept marks and good contested possessions, kicks it away though.
So strong tackle there by Watt. She's an absolute tackling machine. And again, 2 or 3 to the contest, Maroochydore. They managed to put the pressure on Southport. Nothing's easy for Southport today. And they certainly the vibe I got from both passing coaching groups and the playing groups was a Southport that were a little bit shaken by the first half, and a Maroochydore that were full of energy.
Interesting. I hadn't picked up on that. Thank you for that, Mitch. Strong from Jordan. Just picking up on your point about Maddie Watt before. Now, I do not vote in the Zilke medal. That's purely the umpires. I have no influence. I'm looking at Maddie Watt. I think the games that she's had this year and the type of player she is, I'm expecting her to poll well.
It'll no doubt be another interesting vote count in a couple of months' time. The Grogan and Zilke medal. Always a feature event on the QAFL and Bond University QAFLW calendars. As both state leagues have gone to another level this year, it'll be a fantastic way to cap off the season for all. But there's a fair bit of footy and a few finals to play through until we get to that point. So strong mark here. So there's numbers out now. Maroochydore have the opportunity, but again, just that kick forward of centre unable to be capitalised on as a sloppy, just territory gaining kick forward by Southport likely spills out over the boundary line, and we'll have another boundary throw. And I'm not sure, Daniel, you keep an impressive amount of stats on the QAFLW, but I'd be guessing that the number of boundary throw-ins between the arc of the 50-metre line and that scoreboard today will be in the hundreds.
Yeah, not a stat I've got on the spreadsheet, but I'll tell you which ones I've got. You can ask me about those so I look clever.
So the ball again contested. Plenty of Maroochydore jumpers around there, making life difficult as Southport just slap it on the boot. Plenty of numbers for Maroochydore around this contest. The volleyball punch over the forward side of the contest. We'll see another boundary throw in a little bit closer to goal this time. So dangerous spot with 4.5 minutes left on the clock in this third term.
Just think how Maroochydore set up here to block off, because Southport always have exit options galore at every one of these boundary throw-ins or restarts in the pockets. Nurse out on the full.
You've robbed her of a point there, Daniel.
Oh my goodness, right. Bit of parallax error there. I'm getting old, Mitch. It's not like it used to be.
If that's the only one for the day, you're doing all right. So just the minor scoring. Maroochydore elect to take the grass and go a direct route to home, up the centre of the ground, but cut off there by Southport, and they go straight back on the attack. Sky ball goes up.
Oh, lovely.
Strong mark there.
That was Milne to Baldwin. Combination. Don't know if it's worked directly. Oh, into Hunt. Okay, Mitch, stand aside. Megan Hunt. Sorry, I've been waiting for this moment. Was one of my favourite players before I started commentating, but she is on 99 goals in the QAFLW. She's almost certain to pass this short. Or she might think, well, hang on, we're 20 points up. I'm going to have a crack. Whatever win there is probably at her back. Not much she hasn't achieved. And there's only 7 players on record who have kicked 100 goals in this competition. Hunt looks to go well to the right. Okay, you can come back now, Mitch.
And that one is out on the full, so doesn't trouble the scorers there, Hunt.
Thank you.
And she draws out the anticipation of her 100th goal just a little longer. So Maroochydore again repel as they're happy just to let that ball drift out over the boundary line and chew a little bit more time up on the clock.
I don't think we know yet how good this quarter's been from Maroochydore. We may be looking back at the end of the game and saying, wow, that was where they really set up a big victory. I'm speculating a long way ahead. My point is that this quarter needs a context to see how good it's been.
And for Southport, with the stars they've had right across the ground today, I think that for Maroochydore to have had the ball in their half, in their defensive half, I would imagine 95% of this quarter, to only let in the single major has been an outstanding effort. So there's 2 minutes left though in this quarter. The job's not quite done yet, as we'll have another repeat stoppage. A game that's been heavily contested. A lot of stoppages considering the expanse of the oval that we do have here out at the South Point Sports Complex. It's been a real effort, or real noted effort by Maroochydore to make the ground small and really choke up the Southport ball winners in the middle. So no player on the mark. Allows just the play on to gain a few extra metres, but...
That was Ebony Milne again marking from behind. Yes, I'm looking at her for votes. Because as a rebounding halfback, not a normal position, she's been almighty, particularly in this quarter.
So again, that ball trickles out over the northeast quadrant of this oval for another boundary throw-in. As the clock ticks down under a minute.
Well, they've probably only got one or two Southport attacking raids to defuse now, Maroochydore. And if they can withstand them, they'll go in pretty buoyant into three-quarter time, you'd think.
Around the contest, Maroochydore have got 2 or 3 players loose at the back of this pack, just ensuring that there's no cheap footy gets out the front of the contest. So a couple of hand passes here, and they may just get themselves out of trouble. 30 seconds left in this term. I don't know if there's enough time for them to go coast to coast up the ground. But there may be an opportunity here if this ball gets out the front. Holding the man, or holding the player, I should say. So there's a free kick being paid. Just a bit of confusion about who it is. Probably just cost themselves a couple of valuable seconds. 10 seconds to go. Makes no... I was going to say waste no time, but unfortunately the rush of blood sees the ball turned over. And that will be it for the third quarter. A very strong quarter if you're a Maroochydore supporter. Southport probably a little bit disappointed they weren't able to hit the scoreboard a couple of more times. But Daniel, I think we've set up for a pretty juicy final term of this game.
I could not agree more. It was Southport with just the 2 scoring shots in that quarter. The goal to Hannah Davies being added to the 2 for Kira Zarafa and the 1 for Maddie Baldwin. Lucy McKecken has Maroochidore's goal. But for a lost quarter, Maroochydore are going to feel very, very good about themselves. The final quarter of this match of round 12 of the Bond University QAFLW and of Jarrah Corporate Pride round will be coming up in just a few minutes. Thank you for staying with us on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. It's a more fascinating match than you might think by looking at the scoreboard if you've only just joined us. And if you've only just joined us, why? Why have you only just joined us? But plenty of football to catch up on during the week. Southport 4-5-29, leading Maroochydore 1-3-9. 1 quarter left. The wind is inconsistent, but based on what we've seen today, it will probably favour Maroochydore in this fourth quarter. My name is Daniel Viles. With me is AFLW competitions manager and someone who's did a bit of commentary in the past. In fact, I think he even started before I did, Mitch Simpson. Mitch, it really depends. I mean, we think we're going to see... There's every sign that a Maroochydore comeback could happen in this quarter, but they're playing Southport, for goodness sake, who are coming up for, about 9 wins in a row, I think.
Yes, it's. I guess we're trying to set a scene here that it's going to. We always love as whether it be the competition managers or the commentators, a grandstand finish in any game of football that we have. So let's hope Maroochydore kick a couple here early and make it a real contest. But they certainly have every opportunity to do so with the breeze this term, as they look to try and get the first clearance of the day. But Maddie Watt, who we touched on as a bit of a tackling machine, lays the first one there of the final quarter.
And by her standards, this is a quiet game.
Yeah, they've certainly got a bit of firepower in the tank that Maroochydore have been able to nullify today. So the first real clearance from Maroochydore as they go forward, just shoved under that one in the marking contest, but they managed to get the back in possession maybe, just bouncing around, not really anyone's footy at the moment. So umpire will call ball up as the lights have taken full effect now. The candy skies have gone and this is turning into a real night game of football now.
It's a beautiful sight. Great choice of venue, Mitch. I'm not sure whether it probably wasn't just you alone, but you're here, so I'll give you credit for it.
There's a collective decision to find the home of the Bond University QAFLW flagship event of Pride Round. So Maroochydore sent it into forward 50 for the first time this quarter. Plenty of Southport numbers around that footy, however, managed to mop that ball up. There's a strong tackle there laid, though. Maroochydore aren't going to go down quietly here, so just a little bit of run and carry out of the back line from Kimber. Sends the ball long out to their far side. And probably just going to spill out over the boundary line, although it's kept in well there by Southport. They managed to loop out a hand pass. Strong tackle again by Maroochydore. Numbers to the contest as they've done all day, and they earn themselves a free kick for holding the footy.
And that was against Megan Fogus, who she doesn't concede too many free kicks. She normally dances away through traffic.
We talk about them being early in the broadcast as one of the top sides by way of tackles in this competition. They've certainly continued that trend today.
Maroochydore have made them play slightly differently. I think more typical of what Southport do was what they did against UQ last week and certainly against Aspley 2 weeks ago. I think they're number one in the comp for ineffective for disposals and number two for effective disposals and number one for ineffective disposals. They'll just get lots of disposals and weight of numbers will carry the day.
Yes, they're surprising turnovers is higher up the ladder for a side in the position they are. But ball goes in again. Strong little marking contest there. Southport with numbers to the contest. However, a free kick has been picked up.
Bit unlucky there, I thought, Imogen David. She competed well. Umpire slightly closer than I am and just a little bit more qualified.
So Skyward footy. It's going to be a tough one to mark there as the ball comes down. Looks like O'Brien sends the ball forward. So Southport on the attack now. They've got the overlap if they can get this footy into a hand of a teammate. And they do. So it's a 3-on-1 up the ground. No one in the forward 50 here ahead of the footy. So there's about 60 metres of turf ahead of this contest at the moment as a few players start to flood back now. But again, Maroochydore with plenty of numbers to the footy just managed to hold that contest up. And numbers again to the drop of that ball. Cuts it off. Just sort of ping-ponging back and forward though. As Southport now run into an open goal. The ball's just going to get grabbed by that breeze and drift out to the far side of the behind post for a ball up.
Alicia Gordon with the final shot. Got her maiden goal in this competition last week, off target then. But good work. Rewind all the way back to when Maddie Baldwin realised there was no one ahead of her, so she went slowly to the ball. You could see her thinking, and then got the handball immediately over the shoulder. It was clever play.
So O'Brien just grabs that out of the ruck. Quick snap on goal. Will just trickle out over the boundary line, I imagine, although the ball's managed to keep in. Looks like dropping the footy. Umpire says play on. So a tight snap there back to the dangerous spot, but it's all Maroochydore. as they've got the overlap short, and they elect to do so. So they've still got a number wide. In fact, goes one further. So drops one. Oh, unfortunately drops one. They were out the far side there, Maroochydore, and they could have looked to make Southport pay. But O'Brien again looks to step back inside, put Southport on the front foot, but as they've done all afternoon, Maroochydore repel that one and go straight back up through the centre of the ground.
I believe that was Marshall again.
Quickest way home to goal. Now they've got the overlap here again, a long way home to goal with no one in the forward 50 whatsoever. So even if they do get this ball forward, it'll be a foot race. But it bounces around. Strong tackle there, a little hit and spin. She says, you're not going anywhere, you're mine, and we'll have a ball up.
Well, that was Jesse McMillan, both who made the initial run and secondly regathered the ball. And I reckon if I had Kira Zarafa land on top of me, I'd probably stay down for a little while as well. So hopefully McMillan's all right. But I think Zarafa, apart from the fact that McMillan has the ball, I think even the Southport players who don't know her would be saying, number 3, got to make sure she doesn't get loose.
So just a little bit of concern at the moment as play comes to a bit of a halt. An opportunity for a few rotations to occur, a few fresh legs getting out on the ground, a few messages. The coach is sending a few messages out through their runners.
My medical qualifications don't exist, but just she doesn't seem to be she's not clutching any part of the body. I think it's just being winded. And I say just, it's never fun. But hopefully it's nothing that's going to require anything other than just a bit of recovery time. As in minutes, not weeks.
So I think the runner might be calling for the stretcher there. So we may have a bit of a hold up in play here. As the trainers just head out.
You're right.
The injured player. We'll have a small break in play here. Obviously thoughts with the Maroochydore player who's down at the moment. I didn't quite grab who that was.
Oh, it's McMillan.
McMillan
Got the ball. She'd made the really good run, regathered, and then Zarafa made sure she went no further. And, I mean, this is no one's fault. Unfortunately for Maroochydore, it's taking time out of the game, but that is not a priority above safety. And, no, everything they can do to look after Jesse McMillan, who I take great pleasure in raving about. And hopefully this is nothing serious. Clearly me saying she was winded was, wrong. But yeah, no, we wanted to be okay because she has been a star this year.
So always a unique opportunity when you've got a bit of a break in play. Players on the field can come towards the bench. The coach can have almost a fourth quarter time break.
It's a bit basketball, isn't it? A bit of a timeout.
So Coach Lee Radpath is invited this group over just to give a bit of a detailed message straight from the horse's mouth.
Southport are now doing something similar, but Peter Doherty hasn't bothered. Well, Peter Doherty can't go over there, but they haven't bothered coming back over to the bench. Just a trainer delivering messages, but there's also plenty of experience in that Southport side, which, through no fault of their own, Maroochydore don't have at the moment. And so they've got some, people like Megan Hunt, who can, people like Steph O'Brien, who, they know exactly what Peter Doherty wants. They don't need to, they don't need to bring the coach into it because they've just absorbed his instructions.
So, Daniel, while we've got a moment of break in play here, and as McMillan's being stretched off, we do have just a couple of rounds left in the season. Aspley got knocked off today by a spirited Bond. Southport, albeit a almighty comeback from Maroochydore here, you'd think will take 4 points this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Top of the table becomes very, very congested. How do you see the next few rounds, and then obviously the big final series over the next few weeks rolling out?
Yeah, it's, Aspley have a fairly, there are no easy matches in this competition, but they've got Wilston Grange and then Cooperoo, and they would back themselves to win those 2 games. In fact, none of the top 3 play each other anymore. So I think it's going to stay pretty much the positions they're in at the moment. Southport are the most informed team at the moment, and even if they don't win the minor premiership, Peter Doherty, stop listening. I think they're premiership favourites at the moment, simply because of their form recently. Of course, we never know what's going to happen with the uncontrollable, which is when AFLW clubs say, you've been in great form, we need an injury replacement. And unfortunately, that can affect the competition. We just have to accept that. But, oh, and in fact, she's walking off, not with the stretcher, Jessie McMillan, but actually, I'm not going to speculate anymore, but just from the pictures, you can probably form your own idea about what the injury might be.
Well, it's always good to see a player leaving on their own 2 feet as opposed to a stretcher, so our thoughts certainly with Jess and the broader Maroochydore group.
Just to finish answering the question, the race for 4th has become interesting because Cooper has got box seat, but they play Aspley and Southport. Not easy games to win.
No, not at all. So as we strike through towards the halfway mark of this final term, Maroochydore get the free and come out to the near side of the oval. So they've got an opportunity here with plenty of runs to the legs here. They've got an overlap if they can get it out the far side. So Tognazini with a footy. She goes without it. Hand pass out though. O'Brien looks to clean up. Strong just brushes away her opponent and sends that ball forward. But Maroochydore manage again to mop up. Clever little zig and zag there to back out of the contest. Very well done. And Jordan's now got the footy.
That was Epstein with the zagging before. She's been doing that for a few years in this comp.
No one really coming at her at the moment, so she elects just to try and go for territory, though it's turned over in the middle of the ground. So Foggis with a footy, she looks to squeeze the hand pass out. Umpire might have been a little bit blindsided there, but might have not been the most correct hand pass. So play on. It's holding the ball. And again, as we touched on, one of the top tackling sides of the competition continue to tackle and tackle right to the end.
Latea Depot, who another one I'm impressed by this season.
So O'Brien's gone back sort of in the defensive half now. She's been everywhere today and gallant again. So the ball sent forward by Oswald, who's been her opponent for much of the afternoon and been outstanding as well. It's been a great match-up for State League footy as Watt goes charging into that contest. The umpire says ball up, but attacking the footy at a million miles an hour as she always does.
9 minutes to go in this match, but if Southport are able to hold this out, for me, it's Kimber versus Milne for best on ground, just to foreshadow, because there is an award. And good on you from that initiative, the Southport break.
So just one-on-ones up the ground. It's going to be a foot race now as the ball gets goal side of the 2 contests. Takes the dog leg left, right. And Maroochydore get themselves out of trouble through a booming clearing kick. That's gone about 60 metres.
That is Arden Quilliam, and I'm less and less surprised every time she does that. I wasn't kidding before the game when I said this is a chance for her to show that she can play, maybe not as well, but the Sarah Jane O'Grady kind of role. And I think she's done very well today.
In what is a big oval to kick that from defensive 50 to be north of centre wings and outstanding clearing kick. So they've got the opportunity now. A couple of extra numbers around that contest. They've sent it forward again, and the ball's just going to roll out of bounds. But the umpire's picked up a bit of a holding free there against Maroochydore, and Southport will be able to clear up and mop up at that far side.
No umpires have perfect games, but I think the umpires have controlled this very well and let the players decide it. It's not going to be decided by any controversial decision or even any 50-50 calls. I think they've controlled it well.
And Angus and Leona, two stalwarts of our umpiring fraternity, and again a big opportunity to give a shout out to Brad Evans Windows and Doors, our statewide umpiring partner. Huge thank you to their contribution to our umpiring fraternity. Obviously particularly around the southeast Queensland region, but right across the state, the umpires donning the rainbow socks today as well as part of our Jarrah Corporate Pride round.
And the flags, of course, as well, which is spectacular, out on the full.
It's a great day of colour and celebrating the diversity that we do have in our footy community.
Footy clubs are better now than they were. That's full stop, blanket statement.
So Southport, obviously no real hurry now. Time is absolutely on their side, and the enemy for Maroochydore. As Southport managed to clean this one up, kick it just forward of halfway now, but the ball rolls out over the boundary line. And again, we're probably just seeing, as we've seen a couple of times throughout the day, the ball just being parked on that far wing for some significant periods of time.
It's not the way the wind's been blowing, but no, sometimes it just happens that way. But as I said, spectators have only got themselves to blame. You can walk. There's no barriers. You can walk around that side and watch the footy. Commentary boxes are harder to pick up and move, but spectators, go for your life.
Well, they've certainly been stuck around the bar and the hot chip stand today on this near side. It has been cool, so there has been plenty of hot food rolling out of the Aspley Hornets canteen. And again, a big thank you to the Aspley Football Club for their efforts in pulling together what's been a sensational iteration of our statewide Pride Round flagship event here at the Bond University QAFLW. And a big thank you to Jarrah Corporate again for their partnership in this round. Touched on some of our education initiatives and other bits and pieces of activations we've done across the round. It certainly can't be done without the keen support of our partners. So a big thank you to everyone together for pulling Pride Round again as Kimber just overruns that footy. She might get it back though as Pluples hands the balls back to her. So she sent it long up to the far, or the near wing I should say. A rare opportunity for the ball to be under the nose of the commentators here as the ball just sort of bounce off the end to end there, and great running, dashing play there. Might have been Oswald again, I think.
No, that was Quiddiam.
These numbers are getting harder and harder to read.
That wasn't at you. That was just making sure Quiddiam got credit, because I'm on the Quiddiam train right now.
So Maroochydore have got just under 5 minutes. They need to kick 4 to wrestle this game back into their favour. Maybe a little bit just beyond them now, but certainly a really a performance that should give them plenty of confidence heading into the last couple of rounds as they look to rebuild into the 2025 season as well. There's numbers lining up everywhere, so a mark taken there. Looks like a downfield free kick paid. Should rob her of the stat of mark anyway. So just outside at the forward 50 arc now. Opts to go long. Southport with plenty of numbers behind the footy deep, and they look to mop up pretty comfortably as Kimber sends the footy out to the far side of the oval. The left foot might have been Zarafa there.
It was, yep.
Sends it long on that trademark left boot. Just a little shepherding off the ball free kick paid there. So Maroochydore again refusing to let that footy go beyond halfway. They send it deep. Oh, strong take there.
Tiani Brown. Not Southport's absolute best today, but I've enjoyed seeing her progress throughout the season. I think she had a break from footy while she played soccer for a few years, but come up from Shepparton, and whether it's at wing or defence like it's been today, just growing in confidence, in her knowledge of her team's structure. Very important cog in this Southport wheel.
So Maroochydore, Southport rather opting to come back through the corridor. Dangerous kick this late in the game, but time's certainly on their side. And again, a strong intercept mark as the ball comes out through to Pluples. Probably just looking with the overlap here. Ball comes wide and Milne takes that mark. So be careful not to give away 50 there. But with time on their side, they look to just find the targets, keep just chipping away up the ground.
This is good tempo play from Southport. Knowing how to close a game out is a skill. Something Craig Starcevich at the Lions has been working on. They say Cameron Joyce at the Suns has gotten his front of mind as well.
I'm not sure if Starc is still here in the crowd, but he was certainly watching on fondly before.
He watches it all.
So Brian now rolls into an open goal. Probably a little bit too lackadaisical and just pulls that one to the left-hand side.
Look, even if you're as fit and muscular and all the rest of it as Steph O'Brien is, when you've been charging around at the pace she does for 77 minutes, I'm happy to forgive that. I don't want to be patronising because she sets high standards, but if you're busting your gut to bring your team victory, yeah, I'm fine. Also, she frightens me, so I want to be nice to her.
She's found herself in the ruck at half-back on ball and at that point in the forward line today, so Maroochydore head back through the centre corridor, but turn this one over. And Southport have got numbers out wide as they just look to consolidate possession here. Ship will go further wide to her deputy vice in Hunt. The experienced Hunt, she won't be in any hurry to get rid of this footy as they just chip away and consolidate possession. Something they haven't been able to do all day. Maroochydore have certainly provided plenty of physical presence and pressure on them all day. And they've just managed to link up 5 or 6 marks here in a row. And they've taken one now, right in that deep flank.
That's Kimber who's moved forward.
She's a long way out here, probably too far to score. Elects to kick it long to the hot spot. Number of players converge around that. Managed to clear out. In dispute. Risky ball here for both sides. as there's plenty of numbers and plenty of space around them all, but the ball just sort of bounces around. Southport managed to clean up. Zarafa throws that on her left boot skyward. Strong mark there. Manages to spill it in the end. I thought she might have done enough there to convince the umpire it was hers. But again, Maroochydore with numbers at the foot of that contest managed to clean up and clear that ball outside their defensive 50. Strong tackling pressure, I think, there actually forced the Southport player to kick that ball 180 degrees from where she wanted it to go. But regardless, the balls are still in play somehow. And Maroochydore again have the opportunity to attack through the centre of the ground, where they have looked dangerous to do so today. But Southport just too... I was going to say too clean there, but it looks like I think they've given away the free kick. So if Maroochydore are clever here, they'll get the ball moving on pretty quickly here.
And it's been better than a one-goal performance, let's be honest. So unlikely, but they deserve a second if they can wrangle it.
So there'll need to be a mark here taken. With only 9 seconds to go, you'd expect any rush of blood here may see the ball, well, its clock, I should say, beat the ball, and it does. And that brings us to the conclusion of our 4th and final Bond University QAFLW match here at Pride Round, proudly partnered with Jarrah Corporate. Daniel, I'll let you do the particulars to wrap up. It's been a pleasure calling with you today.
Likewise, Mitch. I'm assuming you're emceeing the proceedings down on the ground for the last one, or have you been given a reprieve?
I believe I will have to jump down on field, so I'll let you wrap up, Daniel. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Mitch, and good to get you on the mic at least once in a year in your busy schedule. And yes, you'll hear plenty of Mitch Simpson throughout the on-grand final day. He loves the microphone as much as I do. It's just that I hog it. But in this match, Maroochydore 139, Southport 4-6-30, a goalless final term. In fact, there was only one scoring shot in the final term. That was behind to Southport. But for Southport, 2 goals to Kira Zarafa, 1 to Maddie Baldwin, 1 to Hannah Davies. Lucy McKechnie was the sole goal scorer for Maroochydore. They'll be disappointed to lose Maroochydore, but they've just lost by only 21 points. That is Southport's smallest victory margin since round 4, I want to say, since the first time they beat UQ. So they can take some pride out of that as their finals race. I don't know if it's over or hanging by a knife edge, but it's been a wonderful day of football here as Mitch Simpson heads down to the ground. Well done by the umpires, all 16. Thank you, Jarrah Corporate, for your work in getting involved with this day, but also with Pride Round around the state. Thank you very much to Bond University for your ongoing support of the Women's State League here in Queensland. Thank you to Double Take Sports, particularly thank you to Connor, who's been on camera all 4 games today, even though he had a bit of assistance from Tom earlier in the day. He's gone, so as far as I'm concerned, it is all Connor. Thank you to Sky Burgess, Hannah Davies, and Mitch Simpson, who helped out in the commentary box today. But most importantly, we've had 8 teams on camera today. We've had 8 teams on reserve grade behind us, and it's these footballers who thrill us every week and keep us coming back to marvel at the skills of the Queensland Women's State League, which we call the Bond University QAFLW. My name is Daniel Viles. It's been an absolute thrill to be with you today. Next week, 4:45 at Aspley, Zups Aspley Oval. The Aspley Hornets take on the Wilston Grange Gorillas, and then the week after that, we're at Giffen Park for Cooperoo versus Aspley. Lots of Hornets in the last couple of rounds. The race is on for both the minor premiership and 4th spot, last place in the finals. But from South Pine Sporting Complex in Brindale, it's bye for now.